Rain fell in heavy sheets against the tiny apartment windows, a cold, relentless downpour that made the night feel darker than usual. Inside, Emma Collins tightened her old sweater around herself and tried not to cry as she tucked her 4-year-old daughter, Lily, into bed. The power had gone out an hour earlier, the fridge was almost empty, and her landlord had left another warning notice on the door. She had $27 to her name, and no family to call. Just the small child she loved more than her own life. "Mommy," Lily whispered, rubbing her eyes, "why is the rain so loud?" "Because it knows we're listening," Emma whispered back, kissing her forehead. "It's trying to sing you to sleep." Lily smiled, believing her instantly. Children always believed the soft things, the gentle lies that made the world seem kinder. Emma wished she believed them too. When Lily drifted off, Emma tiptoed toward the living room, pitch black except for the dim glow leaking through the curtains from the streetlight outside. She wrapped her arms around herself, trying to warm up when suddenly there was a knock. A heavy one. She froze. No one knocked on her door this late. No one visited her at all, actually. She stepped quietly toward the door, heart pounding, and peered through the peephole. A man stood there. Tall, soaking wet, barely visible in the dark hallway. Her first instinct was fear. Then he lifted his face toward the peephole, a tired, worn expression, eyes red from cold or exhaustion. He didn't look dangerous. He looked broken. Emma spoke through the door, "Can I help you?" His voice came out hoarse. "Ma'am, I'm sorry. My truck broke down in the storm. My phone died. I tried knocking on the neighbors' doors, but no one answered. I'm freezing. I just need a place to stay until morning. I'll sleep on the floor. I won't cause trouble." Every logical thought screamed at her to say no. But then she looked back at the small bedroom where her daughter slept. She thought of how Lily believed kindness lived in the world, and she thought of the man outside, shivering, alone in the hallway. "Do you have any weapons?" she asked bluntly. "No, ma'am," he answered immediately. "Just a pocket knife for work. You can take it if you want." She unlocked the door, just the chain, just enough to see him. He looked even worse up close. Wet clothes, trembling hands, dirt under his nails, stubble that suggested days without proper rest. "You can come in," she said softly, "but only until morning." "Thank you," he whispered, stepping inside like someone entering a church. She handed him a towel. "Sit by the heater. I'll find you something dry." He nodded and sank into the old sagging couch like his bones hurt. Emma rummaged through a box of clothes her ex had left years ago and handed him sweatpants and a hoodie. He thanked her again, changed in the bathroom, then returned to the couch silently, as though afraid even his breathing might disturb her. "What's your name?" she finally asked. "Daniel," he said. "And why are you traveling in weather like this?" His eyes flickered, hesitation, pain, something she couldn't place. "Searching," he said finally. "For what?" "For something I lost, or maybe something I never had." Emma didn't press. Everyone had their ghosts. She pointed toward the couch. "You can sleep there." Daniel nodded gratefully. "I'll be gone by sunrise, I swear." But he was. Because at 3 a.m., Lily woke up crying from a nightmare. Emma rushed to her, but Daniel beat her there. He crouched beside the small bed, speaking with a tenderness that didn't match his rough exterior. "You're safe, little sunshine," he whispered softly. "The storm can't reach you here." Lily sniffled. "You're wet." "I know," he chuckled. "Storm tried to eat me." Lily giggled despite her tears. And that giggle did something to him. Emma saw it in his eyes. Something cracked open. Something fragile. Something old. After Lily calmed down, Emma tucked her in again. When she returned to the living room, Daniel stood by the window, staring at the rain as though it were speaking to him. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to scare her." "You didn't," Emma whispered. "She liked you." Daniel smiled faintly. Kids always know when a person means no harm. Emma studied him differently now. He was gentle, respectful, lost. "What are you really running from?" she asked quietly. He looked at her, really looked, and for a moment she saw a depth in his eyes she hadn't noticed before. "My life," he said simply. He turned back toward the window. "I had everything you can imagine: money, properties, power, the kind of things men chase their whole lives." Emma blinked. His clothes, his exhaustion, none of it matched the words. "But none of it mattered," he whispered. "Not when I had no one to come home to." She opened her mouth, but he shook his head. "People used me, lied to me, took from me. I never knew who loved me for me and who loved me for my bank account." Emma stared. He didn't sound delusional. He sounded truthful. Painfully truthful. "So I left it," Daniel said. "All of it. Took my truck, changed my phone number, and started looking for something real. Something that doesn't vanish when the check clears." "And did you find it?" she whispered. "I think I found a glimpse," he said softly, eyes drifting toward Lily's door, in a little girl's smile. Emma's breath caught. "And in the woman who gave me shelter, without wanting anything in return." Her heart thudded painfully. The storm raged until morning. Daniel helped make breakfast awkwardly, adorably, burning the first pancake. Lily loved him instantly. She made him laugh, really laugh. The kind that sounded like he hadn't done it in years. When he finally prepared to leave, tying his boots slowly, painfully, Lily stood in front of him with her tiny arms crossed. "You can't go," she said stubbornly. Daniel looked heartbroken. "I have to, sunshine." "Why?" "Because people like me don't get to stay in places like this." Emma frowned. "What does that mean?" Daniel swallowed hard. "It means I'm not meant for simple, beautiful things. Every time I get close, I ruin them." Emma stepped toward him. "You didn't ruin anything here." Daniel shook his head. "You don't know who I am." "Then tell me," she said softly. A long silence filled the tiny apartment. "I'm Daniel Ross," he whispered, "owner of Ross Industries, one of the largest construction companies in the country." Emma's breath stopped. Lily blinked. "So, you build big buildings?" Daniel smiled. "Yeah, big ones, but none as important as this little home." "But why were you," Emma gestured helplessly, "like this?" "Because I needed to know who I am without all the noise. I wanted to meet people who weren't blinded by the name, people whose kindness is real." He looked directly at her. "People like you." Emma felt tears rise. "And now you're leaving," she whispered. "I don't want to," Daniel said, "but people like me don't get invited into families like yours." Lily marched forward, grabbed his hand, and declared, "You're invited." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. Emma stepped closer. "You can stay for breakfast, or longer if you want." "Why?" he whispered. "Because you were the first person to make my daughter laugh in months," Emma said, "and because I haven't felt this safe in years." Daniel closed his eyes, one tear slipping down. He stayed for breakfast. Then for the day. Then for the week. He fixed the sink, repaired the heater, bought groceries without asking for thanks, read Lily bedtime stories, and slowly, carefully, gently rebuilt a home that had been falling apart. One evening, while Lily slept between them on the couch, Daniel turned to Emma. "You saved my life," he whispered. "You saved mine," she whispered back. Weeks later, when Daniel finally took Emma and Lily to see who he really was, his company, his estate, his world, everyone was stunned to see him smiling, holding hands with a little girl who called him Uncle Dan, and looking at Emma like she was the first sunrise he had ever seen. And when he told the board that Emma and Lily were now his family, his future, his everything, No one dared question the man who had finally found the one thing all his money could never buy. A home, a purpose, a reason to stay.